nostrils, mouth.
And then all of the fins one more time here. And so the pectoral versus the pelvic fins, make sure we can identify those.
So the pectoral, what's going on here? Okay, so the pectoral is this one right here.
I'm sure everybody can see it because it was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
know.
lying flat against the.
So this one right here is the pectoral,
And then the pelvic.
and then the pelvic is this one down here.
Notice that the pelvic fin is much higher up on the body than it is in the cartilaginous fish, right, in the shark, which was something we had mentioned in one of your lab write-ups called the advanced fin placement as opposed to the primitive fin placement there. And there's also the two dorsal fins, just like there was in the shark, anterior and posterior.
So this is anterior, and then posterior.
And then the ventral fin.
And then the ventral is this one, right? Yeah. Is it this one? This one right here?
Are you finding it right?
Which one?
This one right
That
here?
one. That's the ventral fin.
Okay.
And then the caudal fin is
And
the
then-
tail fin again.
Like, yeah, this one right here. So ventral, and then, what is it? Caudal?
Caudal.
Caudal? Caudal? Alright.
Caudal.
So this one doesn't have a pelvic fin?
No, it has pelvic.
Pelvic
fin.
is right here.
The
Oh,
pelvic
okay.
is the farther up one.
No,
not-
that's
No, it's
pectoral.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, pectoral, and then,
Pelvic.
Pectoral, there,
Pelvic.
pectoral,
Pelvic's the
pelvic.
bottom.
That's pelvic that you got right there.
Okay. And then ventral.
Does that like look? That looks like it's like two pieces, right?
Remember, pectoral and pelvic fins are both paired, and so the pelvic fins are right next to each other on the underside of the fish there.
Now for advanced placement.
Advanced fin placement, and the shark had primitive fin placement. Which the pelvic fin's much farther back in the body. So let's show the operculum.
so the operculum is right here.
Y'all see the operculum? So can you guys see the gill slits underneath it? Maybe, maybe not, because again, you can't see the gill slits like you said. Can you see the gills underneath
Right,
it?
yeah, it's right
Okay,
here.
good. But again, once you pull up the operculum, again, notice the gills are just directly underneath it, so they're still exposed to the water. So, and then now we can see the lateral line real nicely on this one. So where's that lateral
So
line?
it's right along right here.
This is the darker part.
And if you flip over that window, the flap that you removed, you can see the lateral line real nicely on that piece too.
So I'll just trace it.
Oh,
Oh. I feel like I was the only one who didn't say ours.
Okay, so the lateral line again, which is present in the shark, what's its function? It's also a sensory organ. So it's like the ampulla of Lorenzini, but
Sorry.
it works differently. We'll learn this when we get to the lecture also. But the operculum, was the operculum also present in sharks?
No.
You answered that question already. No, that's unique to bony fishes. What is its function?
Move the water across the gill.
Yeah, it moves water across the gills, even if the fish is motionless, stationary, right? All right, so let's look up the internal dissection. So like again, you remove this flap on the side. If you want, go ahead and flip that flap over again so we can look at like just the muscles. And so, I mean, I just kind of wanted to point out the muscles. I mean, notice, what does that kind of look like there? Doesn't it look like a slab of like salmon or something that you eat? I mean, what are you eating when you eat, you know, a piece of fish? You're eating its muscles, and so that's exactly what it should look like there. So, and so, all right.
These are ridiculous.
So now the perch is a smaller animal. It has smaller organs than the shark. So we'll have to kind of get up close and
Close and personal again.
yeah. And so, all right, start maybe with the stomach. And
So the stomach.
maybe
is-
let's start with the liver. I guess it's probably the best thing to start with.
Okay, so the liver is gonna be this like flap right here. You see this flap?
So notice nowhere near as large as it was in the shark, but again, it forms that flap.
So I'm touching it right here. This is the liver.
Nope. You good.
And then when you pull up that liver, then what's underneath it?
The stomach.
So that's stomach, so the
So
bulging
this is the stomach right here.
And then follow the stomach posteriorly, and what does it lead to?
So you have the intestine.
Right. So notice how the intestine kind of coils up a little bit like the J-shaped stomach in the shark, but then it showed the intestine as it all the way down.
So
Because
then,
you can see the nice little tube all the way down.
yeah, so here's the intestine, and I'll just trace it. Well,
And where did that end?
all the way down to the anus.
Oh, cool.
So what's that occupying a huge chunk of space above the intestine there?
The swim bladder?
No, not there yet.
Oh.
That large organ.
Oh, this, the gonad.
So yeah, so is this a male or a female? Yeah, so in a female, that's the ovary is very, 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 very large like that, and it occupies a huge chunk of space. For the male, we did a male first. It didn't look very good, so we did this female instead. But the testis is much smaller. It's in the same general area, but it's much, much, much smaller than the ovary there. And so now you mentioned, okay, above that ovary, there's just kind of an open space. Now, what did occupy that open space while this was alive?
Water.
The
The
swim
swim
bladder.
bladder. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to even see like the remnants of the bladder that's been burst, but it's kind of like a water balloon that's been burst. But again, that whole upper region was where the gas-filled chamber, where the swim bladder was located. And then if you go above that, you get to the dorsal wall of the fish. And so what's running along the dorsal wall of the fish there?
The kidney.
Kidney. So just like the kidney of the shark, the kidney of the perch is running along the dorsal wall there. And then I guess if we just go up forward a little bit, the only two things still to see are the heart and the gills. So let's start with the
So
heart.
the heart is right here. I'm touching it right here. You guys see it? Does anyone not see it?
And then the gills, again, now that it's on the dissected side here, just showing the nice feathery gills without the operculum covering them.
Right here.
And, you know, it asks the question again here about, you know, it's the same chambered heart as the shark, 2 chambers, single circulation. It asks, what's the purpose of having the heart and the gills located so close to each other? I mean, this is for anybody here now. What would be the advantage of that?
Get oxygen to us.
Yeah, I mean, how, you know, remember, this is a single circulation, you know, blood pressure drops every time it goes through the capillary beds, and so get the blood from the heart to the gills rapidly while blood pressure is still high, so that as it passes through those gills, it still has reasonably high blood pressure, and it's traveling to all the body capillaries. So the heart there is really just kind of directly underneath those gills. Violet or fish group, perch group, did I forget anything?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh,
Did I miss anything?
lateral line.
Yeah, the lateral line we got. Did you all see the lateral line, everybody? I think we showed that. But again, now if you want to see anything, you know, in more detail, now's a good time while the perch is here. So.